Hello, I'm Meg. You're joining me today on the Cal Poly Research Pier. This pier is about half a mile long and it's located in Avila, California, about halfway in between San Francisco and LA. Cal Poly staff and students can use this pier to conduct research on the life that's in the ocean. One thing this pier is used for is scuba diving. In order to scuba dive off of the Cal Poly Pier, you have to be a scientific scuba diver. And we're here on the lower landing of the Cal Poly Research Pier. Now, I know you guys have already been diving a little bit today, but we just wanted to introduce you to all of the gear that we use. As a scientific scuba diver, I have to be very comfortable with all the gear that's on my body. That way, I can be really focusing on the data collection that I'm doing. To start off, this is my air tank. It has a lot of pressure of air in it, and so it's made out of steel and it's really thick and heavy. That way, no air can come out. Up here is the first stage of my octopus. That takes the high pressure air from my tank and decreases the pressure a little bit so it can go into these tubes. This tube right here leads to my second stage, or my regulator. That will put the air at a pressure that I can breathe really easily. So when you're underwater with us, you'll see air bubbles coming out of this hole right here. The air tank is also connected to this vest. This vest is called my BCD, or buoyancy control device. This helps me regulate where I am, or how deep I am in the water, just a little bit. I can use this blue button right here, and I can fill it up with air. You can hear air going into it. Then it can act like sort of like a life vest. One last thing on my BCD, and this one's the most important. So this gauge right here, that tracks how much air I have left. We always want to make sure that we get out of the water with a little bit of air, just in case there's an emergency. On the back, that shows my depth. That way, I always know where I am, and I can just be aware of my surroundings. Lastly, we have the compass, just so that I know what direction I'm going. That's about it for my BCD. But we're here in California, and the Pacific Ocean is really cold, and so I have to have some thermal protection. That's over here. You can see this is my wetsuit. It's 7 millimeters of neoprene. You can see how stiff the arm is. And I have 2 on my stomach. I have this part and this part. That way I have 14 millimeters and I can stay really warm. I also have my hood to keep my head warm, gloves for my hands, and booties for my feet. I also have a mask so that I can see underwater. You can see that it covers my nose because I only breathe out of my mouth when I'm underwater. Last but not least, I have my fins. This helps with me maneuvering underwater much better, almost like a fish's fins. Wow, that was a lot of gear, but this is just the regular scuba gear. We haven't even gotten to the scientific gear yet. We'll dive into that later. Thanks for checking us out with me.